Good afternoon po. Welcome to DPWH Sorsogon 2nd District Engineering Office, Payawin, Bulan, Sorsogon. Scheduled for today's pre-bid conference are for the following contracts. 25FL0101, construction of 2nd District Provincial Hospital at Irosin, Sorsogon, Phase 3A, Barangay Buenavista, Irosin, Sorsogon. 25FL0106, construction of multipurpose building, Sorsogon State University, Bulan Campus, Bulan, Sorsogon. And 25FL0123, repair rehabilitation of classrooms at Bugtong Elementary School, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Quirino Elementary School, Bulan, Sorsogon, and Matnog National High School, Matnog, Sorsogon, Cluster 1, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Bulan, Sorsogon, and Matnog, Sorsogon. Today is December 22, 2025, and present here are the following. Dave Clint B. Almilla, Back Vice Chairman.
Present.
Erwin S. Encinares, Back Member.
Present.
Chloe F. Valeros, Back Member. Present po. Jessalo R. Almilla, TWG Head.
Present.
Grace Perez, Representative from Planning and Design Office, a section. Risha G. Inesio, Construction Representative.
Present.
Glenn L. Inicio, Back Secretariat.
Present.
Mr. Chair, meron na po tayong quorum.
Good afternoon po. Since the quorum is declared, this pre-bid conference is now called. Our agenda for today's pre-bid conference is as follows. Basic contract data, requirements of bidding documents, eligibility criteria, documents to be submitted by the bidder, criteria and procedures for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. Questions, comments from bidders, and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity, summary proceedings including bid bulletins to be issued, common reasons for bidders' disqualification, and other matters. To discuss what's the basic contract data is Grace Perez from Planning and Design Section.
For basic contract data with contract ID 25FL0101 with contract name construction of 2nd District Provincial Hospital at Irosin, Sorsogon, Phase 3A with contract location at Barangay Buenavista, Irosin, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract is 103,950,000 pesos. Source of fund is GAA FY 2025. Contract duration is 292 calendar days. Predetermined unworkable number of days is 73 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents is 50,000 pesos. Submission of bids is scheduled on or before January 20, 2026 until 10 a.m. Opening of bids is on January 20, 2026, immediately after closing receipt of bids. Major category of work is BIC. Project description, scope of works. This project serves as the continuation of the contract ID 24FL0122 of this office. Its scope of work covers the construction of structural components from the 2nd to the 3rd floor, roofing works including trusses and structural steel, masonry works for the ground, 2nd and 3rd floors as well as the roof deck, painting works limited to structural steel elements, rough-in works for plumbing, storm drainage, downspouts, and cold water lines. And lastly, selected portions of the electrical rough-in installations. Objective, to deliver accessible high-quality healthcare services that improve the public health outcomes, strengthen medical infrastructure and service delivery, and contribute to the employment creation and economic development. Here's the project's JTAG photos taken during validation. Next is the environmental clearance and the proof of ownership. Next is the detailed engineering design plan for the construction of 2nd District Provincial Hospital at Irosin, Sorsogon. The project's vicinity map and site development plan. The project's elevation plans and other details. Shown to us here is the perspective of the project. For minimum manpower requirement for project manager, they must have handled infrastructure projects. Project engineer, DPWH accredited project engineer, materials engineer, DPWH accredited materials engineer, general construction foreman must have handled similar projects. Safety and health officer must have undergone 40 hours of basic construction safety and health training. For minimum equipment requirement, dump truck all models, 2 units, payloader, 1 unit, backhoe, 1 unit, plate compactor, 1 unit, concrete pump, 1 unit, loaded trailer truck, 1 unit, truck mounted crane, all models, 1 unit. Next, for basic contract data with contract ID 25FL0106 with contract name Construction of Multipurpose Building, Sorsogon State University, Bulan Campus, Bulan, Sorsogon. Contract location is at Bulan, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract is 99 million. Source of fund is GA FY 2025. Contract duration is 284 calendar days with predetermined unworkable number of days of 72 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents is 50,000 pesos. Submission of bids is scheduled on or before January 20, 2026 until 10 a.m. Opening of bids shall proceed immediately after closing receipt of bids. Major category of work is BICWP LCDP. The scope of works of the project is construction of SSU gymnasium, includes earthworks, clearing and grubbing, removal of structures and obstruction, embankment for existing building, gravel field. Structural works, which includes reinforced concrete, structural concrete, reinforcing steel and formworks, plumbing, roughing ins, roofing works for steel, concrete piles and electrical conduit rough-ins, finishing and other civil works are not included in this contract. The objective is to create safe and conducive learning spaces, enhance educational quality, improve overall school operations, support community development, and ensure full compliance with national educational standards. Here's the geotag photos for the project. Shown to us here is the environmental clearance as well as the proof of ownership. Next is the geotechnical investigations and the site of the project. For detailed engineering design plan of construction of multipurpose buildings, Sorsogon State University, Bulan Campus, Bulan, Sorsogon, we have here the site's vicinity map as well as the location map. The project's floor plan, ground floor plan, second floor plan, and third floor plan. Next is the project's elevations. And lastly, the perspective of the project. Shown to us here is the bid data sheet. And then the special conditions of contract and the bill of quantities, which are downloadable at the DPWH website and the PhilJobs website. For minimum manpower requirement, project manager must have handled infrastructure projects, project engineer, DPWH accredited project engineer, materials engineer, DPWH accredited materials engineer, general construction foreman must have handled similar projects, safety and health officer must have undergone 40 hours of basic construction safety and health training. Minimum equipment requirement, dump truck all models 2 units, payloader 1 unit, backhoe 1 unit, plate compactor 1 unit, concrete pump 1 unit, low-bed trailer truck 1 unit, truck mounted crane 1 unit, diesel hammer 1 unit, drop hammer 1 unit, low-bed trailer truck 1 unit, air compressor 1 unit.
Basic contract data for ID 25FL0123. With contract name repair or rehabilitation of classrooms at Bugtong Elementary School, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Quirino Elementary School, Bulan, Sorsogon, and Matnog National High School, Matnog, Sorsogon, Cluster 1. Contract location, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Bulan, Sorsogon, and Matnog, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract, or ABC, 15,931,328.56. Brief description. Repair or rehabilitation of 5 classrooms at Bugtong Elementary School, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Repair or rehab of 3 classrooms at Quirino Elementary School, Bulan, Sorsogon. and repair or rehabilitation of 12 classrooms at Matnog National High School, Matnog, Sorsogon, with contract duration of 170 calendar days and predetermined unworkable days of 17 calendar days. Source of fund is FY 2025 GAA under DepEd Basic Educational Facilities Fund BFF Repair of Classrooms Batch 1. Major category of work BIR. Cost of bidding documents 25,000. Date of receipt of bids January 20 until 10 a.m. The date of opening of bids is January 20, 2026 at 10 a.m. immediately after closing receipts of bid. Scope of works. Repair or rehabilitation of 5 classrooms at Bugtong Elementary School, Barcelona, Sorsogon includes repainting of buildings, installation of trusses, roofing, ceiling, and electric fan, construction of footing, columns, footing tie beam and beam, construction of PWD and corridor, and construction of 1 unit of comfort room. Repair or rehabilitation of 3 classrooms at Quirino Elementary School, Bulan, Sorsogon includes construction of new footing, footing tie beam, roof beam, catch basin, blackboard, and accordion partition, replacement of wooden trusses to steel trusses, windows, lighting fixtures, doors and downspout, installation of new ceiling and roofing, repainting of buildings, installation of grills, and repair of electrical wirings. Repair or rehabilitation of 12 classrooms at Matnog National High School, Matnog, Sorsogon includes repainting of buildings, construction of catch basin, repair of ceiling and roofing, electrical wirings, floor finishing, and replacement of lighting fixtures, doorknobs, and fire alarm bell. This is the vicinity map and site development plan for Bugtong Elementary School. The geotagged photos taken during validation for Bugtong Elementary School and its perspective for Building 1, Building 2, and Building 3. This is the detailed architectural and engineering design plan for Building 1, for Building 2, and for Building 3. This is the vicinity map and site development map for Quirino Elementary School, the geotagged photos during validation, and the perspective of the said. The detailed architectural and engineering design plan, vicinity map and site development map for Matnog National High School, geotagged photos during validation, and the perspective of Building 2, Building 3, Building 10, and Building 4. This is the detailed architectural and engineering design plan for Building 2, for Building 3, Building 4, and Building 10.
Requirements of bidding documents. Ang mga documents po nito ay nakapost po sa DPWH websites and sa PDFs to aid our contractors in preparation of their bids. Ang mga documents po nito ay instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, bid data sheet, specifications, drawings, bill of quantities, and subload forms. Yan po ang ating bid data sheet, special conditions of contract, bill of quantities, key personnel po, for project manager, must have handled infrastructure projects. For project engineer, must be an accredited DPWH project engineer. For materials engineer po, dapat po accredited na materials engineer ng DPWH. For general construction foreman, must have handled similar projects. Safety and health officer must have undergone 40 hours basic construction safety and health program, health training. Minimum major equipment requirements: cargo service truck, all models 1 unit, backhoe 1 unit, crane compactor 1 unit, truck mounted crane 1 unit, low bed trailer 1 unit, dump truck all model 2 units. Included na po ang ating minimum material testing equipments sa ating requirements. Key points: lowest calculated bid or the LCRB will be used as the criteria for award. The amount of the advance payment is 15% of the total contract price to be made in lump sum. All progress payments shall be first charged against the advance payment until the latter has been fully exhausted at the point of the option of the procuring entity. The contractor shall submit the program work to the procuring entity within 10 days of delivery from the notice of award. The amount to be withheld for late submission of an updated program of work is 15,931 pesos and 33 centavos only. Sinusunod po natin ang ating two envelopes system where the eligibility and technical documents are submitted in one envelope and the financial proposals is submitted in another envelope, all closed in one single envelope. Our bid validity is 120 calendar days. For yan po, original and technical, regional and financial, all submit po sa original bid. Each envelope shall contain the name of the contract to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient back, procuring entity, and the markings do not open before the date and time on opening of bids. Pero din po sa copy 1, lahat po yan ang original bid and copy 1 shall be closed in one single bid. Each envelope shall contain the name of and address of the contract to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient back, procuring entity, and the markings do not open before the date and time of the opening of bids. Unsealed and unmarked bids shall not be accepted. Not compressed and password protected shall not be accepted. Improperly sealed and marked shall be accepted. Improperly compressed and password protected shall be accepted. Submission and receipt of bids. Modification of bids. Before the deadline of submission of bids, the bidder shall not be allowed to retrieve its original bid. However, it shall submit new bid equally sealed, properly identified, linked to its original bid, and marked as a modification. For withdrawal of bids, a letter of withdrawal must be received prior to the deadline for submission and receipt of bids. For bids withdrawn within the interval between the deadline and expiration of bid validity, the bid security shall be forfeited. For electronic submission of bid, bidders shall send another bid equally secured, properly identified, and labeled as modification of the one previously submitted. The time indicated in the latest bid receipt page generated shall be the official time of submission of bids. Meron po tayong two modes of submission of bids. Yan po ay manual submission of bids or electronic submission of bids. For manual submission of bids, yan po ay sa Box Secretariat Office, DPWH Sorsogon 2nd DO, Barangay Payawin, Bulan, Sorsogon. For electronic bids naman po, yan po sa electronic bids _Sorsogon 2 at dpwh.gov.ph. Eligibility criteria. The following persons or entities shall be allowed to participate in the bidding of infrastructure projects. A duly licensed Filipino citizen for sole proprietorship, partnerships duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and of which at least 60% of the interest belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Corporations duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and of which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Cooperatives duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, or persons, entities, forming themselves into a joint venture as per section 52.4.2.1 of RA 12009. Foreign bidders may be eligible to participate in the procurement of infrastructure projects when provided or under any treaty or international executive agreement as provided in section 4 of RA 12009. Bidders must have a valid pickup license, must have a single largest completed contract that is similar to the contract to be bid of at least 50% of the ABC. The single largest completed contract shall be supported by the owner's certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or final rating at least satisfactory in the CPES or similar performance and monitoring systems as per section 52.4.2.5 of RA 12009. Contractors under small A and small B categories without similar experience provided that the cost of the contract to be bid is not more than the ARCC of their registration. Bidders must have an NFCC at least equal to the ABC. Eligibility and technical documents to be submitted by the bidders. We encourage our bidders to enroll in the Civil Work Application or the CWA to facilitate the fast evaluation of their eligibility. However, if they have not yet enrolled in the CWA, these are the documents they have to submit. Class A legal documents, job certificate of registration, mayor's permit, DTI, tax clearance, pickup license and registration, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, statement of single largest completed contract, computation of the NFCC, valid joint venture agreement if applicable. Bid security in the form of cash or manager's check, bank draft, bank guarantee, 2%, surety bond, callable upon demand, 5%, or you can submit the bid securing declaration. Please be guided po ng ating new Procurement Act, Government Procurement Act for the form of the bid securing declaration. Project requirements, organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' key personnel, list of contractors' major equipment units owned, leased, or under purchased agreement. Omnibus sworn statement, duly notarized. Please be guided po ulit ng ating new Government Procurement Act sa format po ng ating Omnibus sworn statement. Yan po ang ating checklist for financial and technical documents. Downloadable naman po yan sa ating PGEPs and sa DPWH websites. Tungkol po sa ating tax clearance, submission of BI receipt for renewal of tax clearance will not suffice in lieu of valid tax clearance requirement. Submission of provisionary tax clearance issued by the BIR for bidding purposes is not acceptable form of tax clearance. Dapat po meron po kayong updated na tax clearance. Statement of all government and private contracts. Statement of the bidder of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Statement of all information required in the bidding documents. Statement of single largest completed contract. The bidder must have completed a single largest completed contract that is similar to the procurement project. The SLCC's value adjusted to current prices using the PSA Consumers Price Indices must be at least 50% of the ABC to be bid, provided that any change to the 50% requirement may be allowed, subject to the recommendation of the procuring entity, which shall be submitted to the GPPB for consideration. Provided that the contractor under small a and small b categories without similar experience on the procurement project to be bid may be allowed to be bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost or the ARCC of the registration based on the guidelines prescribed by the PICAB. Valid PICAB license, special PICAB license. Registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid should be valid at the time of the deadline for the submission and applicants. Yan po ang ating bid securing declaration, bid securing declaration. Ang ating omnibus sworn statement po, dapat po mayroong signatory of duly authorized representative clause, bidder is not blacklisted, authenticity of documents, verification authority, signatories authority, complies with the closures provision, complies with existing labor laws and standards, complies with the responsibilities of bidders. Non-payment, indirectly or indirectly, any commission, amount, fee, or any form of consideration in relation to the procurement project or activity. In case of advance payment was made or given, failure to perform or deliver any of the obligations and undertakings in the contract shall be sufficient grounds to constitute criminal liability under existing laws. Yan po dapat ang laman ng ating omnibus source statement. Please be guided na lang po ng ating RA 12009. For the second envelope, ang laman naman po yan ng bid form, summary bid prices, Bid prices in the bidding quantities, detailed estimate including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of materials, labor, and equipment, cash flow by quarter, month, and payment schedule, other documents required in the bidding documents. For detailed evaluation of bid, ang purpose po niyan is to determine the lowest calculated bid by establishing the correct calculated prices or bids. Ranking calculated total bid prices from lowest to highest. The method and non-discretionary criteria shall be used, which shall include consideration of completeness of bids and minor arithmetical corrections. The results shall be contained in the abstract of bids. In case of discrepancies between bid prices in figures and bid prices in words, the bid price in words shall prevail. Total price per item versus the unit price for the items times the quantity. The unit price for the item times the quantity shall prevail. Stated total price versus the actual sum of prices of component items. The actual sum of prices of component items shall prevail. The unit cost in the detailed estimate versus the unit cost in the bill of quantities. The unit cost in the bill of quantities shall prevail. Reminders po sa ating mga bidders of the no contact rule, provision on communication with bidders from the bid evaluation until the award of contract. For post-qualification, to determine whether the lowest calculated bid complies and is responsive to all requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents, to be declared as the lowest calculated and the responsive bid. The method and non-discretionary pass or fail criterion shall be used to verify, validate, and ascertain all statements and documents to be submitted by the lowest calculated bid. Common reasons for bidders' disqualification. Late submission of bids without valid reasons. Submission of patently insufficient bids. Submission of an expired certificate of Philippine government PhilJEPs, failure to include certificate of employment, contract agreement among permanent personnel and staff of the firm on curriculum vitae. Failure to submit the required bid form. Minsan po, ginagamit na po yung luma na bid form. Submission of incomplete, insufficient, or defective documents due to non-inclusion or omission of mandatory provisions and statements for the required bid forms. Kung minsan po may nahumit po tayo ng mga clauses sa ating bid form, sa ating omnibus sworn statement, sa ating bid securing declaration. Dapat as prescribed po, susundin po natin yun. Submission of bid form, bid securing declaration, omnibus sworn statement, and joint venture agreement without the name, legal capacity, and signature of the bidder or its authorized representative. Nomination of key personnel of a profession different from what is required by the bidding documents. Failure to submit the required certification of key personnel as per Department Order No. 9, Series 2012. Failure to comply with the required minimum number of key personnel and equipment. Failure to submit proof of ownership, lease or purchase agreement or pledge equipment. Insufficient NFCC, insufficient SLCC. Thank you. Any comments, questions po? Hearing none po. This pre-bid conference is